Hello everyone. Today we are going to study Mendel's laws of inheritance from biology. Mendel was appropriately called as the father of genetics. Now we are studying his laws of inheritance. First of all, Mendel actually gave the postulates. In my previous video, I told you that Mendel's work was rediscovered by three scientists, Hugo de Ries, Schermach and Correns. These three people actually made the laws of inheritance, and it was said to be Mendel's laws of inheritance on the basis of the postulates of Mendel. Now, what is inheritance? Inheritance are those characters that are shifted from the father and mother to the progeny. Progeny means the offsprings or the children. So, inheritance of such characters like color of the eyes, hair quality, earlobe, blood group are certain characters that we inherit from our parents. So, inheritance of such characters to the progeny is actually done by the very small units called as genes, and genes are present in the chromosomes. It is on account of these genes that characteristics of species, including physical appearance, body functions, behavior, are passed on from parents to the offsprings. Normally, every gene has two alternative forms of a character. These are called as alleles. I have discussed this earlier in my previous video also. You can touch the I button to know about all these terms in my previous video. The alternative forms are called as alleles. The alleles of a particular gene occupy the same positions. Positions are known as loci on homologous chromosomes. So, alleles are actually the alternative forms of a gene. Mendel gave three laws. The first one is law of dominance. Second is law of segregation, which is also called as law of purity of gametes. And third, law of independent assortment. Let us study the first law, the law of dominance. This is a monohybrid inheritance, that is, we are going to study this in a monohybrid cross. Out of a pair of contrasting characters present together, only one is able to express itself while the other remains suppressed. The character which is visible is dominant, and the one which is not visible is called recessive. Let us study this with the help of an example. So, we are going to study the law of dominance with this example. We know that there were 7 traits that Mendel took into consideration from the pea plant. So, this is the plant which is tall, and this one is a dwarf pea plant. We are considering over here the stem length, the tall pea plant and a dwarf pea plant. Let me take this plant as capital T, capital T. I just now talked about alleles. So, this is the alleles of the tall plant. Why I have written it twice? I have written it twice because pea plant is a diploid plant. This we are considering as small t because this is a dwarf plant. So, if I am taking this parent, considering the stem length, I am taking this parent as capital T, and here I am taking it as small t. You can see that both are in homozygous condition. Homozygous condition means both the alleles are same. Here the both alleles are in capital T, and here both the alleles are small t. So the alleles, when they form the gamete, they separate. So here it will be two alleles forming individual gametes like this, and here also the two alleles will separate and form the gametes. So what Mendel did was he cross fertilized the tall plant with a dwarf plant with the help of Punnett square. Now what is Punnett square? The Punnett square is a square diagram that is used to predict the genotype of a particular cross. It is named after Reginald C. Punnett. I am drawing a Punnett square. This is a square. We come to know about the genotypes over here. So if I am taking both the alleles of this tall plant on one side and the dwarf plant over here on one side, considering one to be male and another one to be female. Now how do we cross it? Capital T, small t, capital T, small t. This T with this T, capital T and small t. Now this T and this T, capital T, small t. This and this, capital T and small t. So what we find over here are that there are 4 offsprings, and all the offsprings in the next generation, that is we are studying the F1 generation, and all of them are tall. So in the Punnett square we found out that there were 4 offsprings in the F1 generation. This is the F1 generation. What do you mean by F1 generation? This is the first generation which we get by crossing the parents. It is also known as first filial generation. So we observe that all the plants are tall, none of the plant is dwarf. It is so that the small plant, that is the dwarfness, has been suppressed and only the tall plant have expressed themselves in F1 generation. Now what did Mendel do? He tried to get the F2 generation. What Mendel did in the F2 generation was that he selfed the first generation. In F1 generation, we got all the plants which were capital T, small t, that means they were tall, and here also capital T and small t. This is the Punnett square in which we are trying to find out the genotype for the F2 generation. So when we cross it, we get a tall homozygous plant, a heterozygous tall plant, again a heterozygous tall plant, and a homozygous dwarf plant. That means the 4 plants that were obtained in the F2 generation, the first plant was tall, the second plant was heterozygous tall, the third plant was again heterozygous tall, but the fourth plant was dwarf. So in the F2 generation, the dwarf plant could express itself. This dwarf plant was suppressed in the F1 generation. This could not be seen in the F1 generation. So what Mendel found out was that there are 2 characters for the stem length. One is the tallness and the other is dwarfness. But in F1 generation, only one character expresses itself. He called that character as dominant. So which is a dominant character? The character which is visible. All the plants were tall, the tallness was visible, so he called that character as dominant, and the dominant allele could only express itself. Which was the dominant allele? The capital T. But when he selfed, that means the F1 generation plants were selfed. They were not crossed with another type of plant, but they were selfed among themselves, and what he saw was that the F2 generation could express the recessive character. So the recessive character can only express itself when it is in homozygous condition. Homozygous means both the alleles are same. But if it is in heterozygous condition, the phenotype is tall only. However, the small t is present in the genotype, but phenotypically it is tall only. So what is phenotype? The observable character which is visible. So tallness was visible and the plant is tall. So it is a dominant character. The capital T expresses the dominant character. So one allele expresses itself in the F1 generation and the recessive allele expresses itself in the F2 generation. If we take out the ratio over here, phenotype ratio, since 3 plants are tall, 3:1. So the phenotypic ratio is 3:1 over here. The dwarf plant is 1. So we get a phenotype ratio. But if I talk about genotype, so homozygous tall plant is only 1, heterozygous tall are 2, and dwarf plant is only 1. So the genotypic ratio is 1:2:1 and phenotypic ratio is 3:1. So this is what is in monohybrid cross. What is monohybrid cross? Monohybrid cross is that cross in which we only consider one character. We considered the stem length over here, which had two alternative forms of allele, tallness and dwarfness. So a monohybrid phenotypic ratio is 3:1 and genotypic ratio is 1:2:1. This is the first law of Mendel. The law of dominance is not universally accepted. When Mendel formulated this law, it was only for the pea plant, but this law is not universally accepted for other plants. There is a plant, the scientific name Mirabilis jalapa, and when it has two the color, if we are considering, there are two types of color, red, which is a dominant trait, and white. And when both the plants having red flowers and white flowers are fused in F1 generation, all of them are red. But in F2 generation, some of the flowers are red, some of the flowers are white, and some are a mixed shade of red and white, that is pink. That means, according to Mendel, it can be only a dominant character or it can only be a recessive character. If we consider the human trait for skin color, it can only be the two extremes. A person can be very dark or can be very fair, but we see the intermediate colors also. It can be for other attributes of the humans, but then it is not like that. We see various shades of skin color, and therefore this was only accepted for the pea plant and not for every character. Let us study the second law of Mendel, law of segregation or law of purity of gametes. This law is also known as law of purity of gametes. Now we know that gametes formation takes place in the process of meiosis and they are always pure. I'll explain it. Let us first study what it says. The two members of a pair of factors are what? Genes, because Mendel called the genes as factor at that time. And what are the two members? The alleles. So alternative form of a gene is the allele. So the two alleles of a gene, they separate during the formation of gametes. They do not mix or blend with each other but separate or segregate into different gametes. The gametes combine together randomly at the time of zygote formation. In human female, there are two alleles. Both of them are same, X and X. So it is homozygous condition. But in a male, it is X and Y. The alleles differ. One is X and other one is Y. But while the gametes are being formed, they will be forming independently X and X alleles. And in the male also, it will be X and Y. So this is not going to mix with this or blend with this, neither is this going to mix with the character. The X and Y differ. The Y characters are not going to influence the X, neither the X will influence the Y, neither are they going to mix or blend with each other. They are all pure, and so it is called as law of purity of gametes. So the two alleles of a gene, they separate during the gamete formation, and it is that these gametes combined together randomly. It can be like this X can form a pair with this to form a girl child, and this X can combine with this Y to form a boy child. So it is randomly done. This X can even combine with this X to form a girl child. This X can combine with this Y to form a boy child. This is all randomly done, and therefore it is not pre-planned, nothing is there. It's randomly forming either a girl child or a boy child. So the zygote formation actually helps in reunion of the gametes, and thus the chromosomal number is regained. The 46 gametes were haploid and the zygote is diploid. So this is what is the law of segregation. This law is universally accepted. This is applicable in each form. In every species we see that the gametes are haploid, be it plants or animals. So this is what is the law of segregation. Let us study the third law, the law of independent assortment. When there are two contrasting characters, the distribution of the member of one pair into the gametes is independent of the distribution of the other pair. We are talking about two contrasting characters. Earlier to this, when we studied the two laws, it was for one character, and therefore both of them are called as monohybrid inheritance. But this one depends on a dihybrid cross. Dihybrid cross means it involves two contrasting characters. So when I'll be explaining you this, I'll be considering two characters. Let me take color and the shape of the pea plant. Okay, pea seeds. The color yellow. This was dominant, so let me take it as capital Y, and the green was recessive. So let me take it as small y. The shape is round. This is dominant and wrinkled. This is recessive. So this is a dihybrid cross. So let me take a yellow round plant and we will cross it with a green wrinkled plant. So these are the parents. Yellow round parent, we are considering this as male, and this is green wrinkled small y small r, and this is a female. So when we form the gametes here, YR will be the gametes of the parents, that is the pollen over here, and over here the eggs from the female will be small y small r small y small r, and when we cross it, it will be Y, capital Y, small y, capital R, small r. The same condition over here. Either will be forming the F1 generation having all yellow round seeds. So F1 generation, the progeny will have all the seeds which are yellow round. So this will now form the gametes. Capital Y, capital R, small r will be forming 4 different types of gametes. So these are the 4 types of gametes: capital Y, capital R, capital Y, small r, small y, capital R, small y, small r, that will be formed after selfing the plants of F1 generation. So these are the gametes which are obtained for getting the plants for F2 generation. This is the Punnett square. We have taken the gametes on one direction and the same gametes over here in this direction. Now how do we form the genotypes? Capital Y, capital Y, capital R, this way. Now this capital Y R with this one. So 2 capital Y, 1 capital R and 1 small r. So what will be, this is the genotype, but what is the phenotype? Yellow and round. Capital Y stands for yellow and capital R stands for round. If any condition, in any condition, if there is 1 capital Y and 1 R, it will be yellow and round. Here we see 2 yellow and R which is for rounds. The other one which is for wrinkled is not shown over here because the dominant capital R is suppressing it, and therefore the seed shows itself to be yellow. This one again is a yellow, you see the color over here, and this way we form all the genotypes. Since 4 over here, we get 16 boxes. So 16 of the progeny, in which you see that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, this is yellow round, 6, yellow round, 7, 8 and 9. 9 are yellow round. Okay, so this was one of the parent that we took, yellow round. Now the other parent was green wrinkled. Green wrinkled is over here. This is the green wrinkled, which is only one, small y, small y, small r, small r. We took two cases, yellow round and green wrinkled. But you see there are intermediate formations also, that is yellow wrinkled as well as green round. So the gametes are independently assorting out and making combinations on their own. The recessive parent has independently assorted over here, but there are intermediate forms also, yellow wrinkled also, green round also. So all of the alleles are independently assorting. So what we just now saw was that we took the yellow round parent and the green wrinkled parent, and the gametes formed in the F1 generation was FY, capital Y, small y, capital R, small r, and by selfing them we got the gametes for getting the F2 generation. How do we get the gametes? We'll take one Y and we'll fuse with both the R. So this Y will first fuse with capital R, so it will form capital Y, capital R. Now this capital Y will fuse with the small r. So capital Y, small r. The same thing will do with small y. The small y will fuse with capital R and the small y will again fuse with the small r. So these are the four gametes. We took this in this horizontal direction, and the same way we will take it over here in the Punnett square, and we got the 16 progenies. And the four different types of combinations that we got were yellow round, yellow wrinkled. With the same color we get two different shapes, then green round and green wrinkled. We found out that yellow round were 9, yellow wrinkled were 3, green round were 3 and green wrinkled was 1. There were 16, 9 plus 3, 12, 12 plus 3, 15, 15 plus 1, 16. So I showed you the green wrinkled one, the yellow round one, yellow wrinkled and green round were these. When you form the combination in the Punnett square, you will find out this ratio. So this is the phenotypic ratio, 9:3:3:1. This is the ratio for the dihybrid cross. So what we study in this law is that there are, when we took two different types of parents, yellow round parent and the green wrinkled parent, we got yellow round just 9 and green wrinkled just 1. We got the intermediate forms also, yellow wrinkled and green round. So these characteristics independently assorted to form the progeny, and the green wrinkled assorted itself in the F2 generation, which was just one plant. So the recessive parent could express itself in the F2 generation. These are the three laws of inheritance. Thank you.